And Denise, tonight you will be making the choice. The viewers have chosen. And who will it be? And who will be the body on the floor of the Queen Vic? Who will it be? That has all been decided in the live episode. This is Walford on Tap. This is the 20th of February 2025. And this is our review of the live episode.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to quickly just run through the side bits of this. I know it's not a big part. It is a big part, but it literally wasn't a big part. They only gave him one line. Who does Denise choose? I didn't want it to be this way, but I did get a vote in the end, correct? It was Jack. She goes into Jack, and they basically went, Denise, can you do all the acting, please? She goes into the house, and it's like, so Jack, yeah, I love you, Jack. I want to be with you. And then Jack's literal line is something like, well, hello, my name's Jack Brannan. I'm 49, single, ready to mingle. Literally, that's all his line is. And that's the scene.
And the crowd goes mild. The crowd goes mild. It's like, oh, who's going to win? Jack. Yeah. Woo. Great. Party time. Woo. Yeah.
But
who cares, man?
But yeah, literally, I do not want it this way. But I can people didn't pay money for the vote. They didn't, thankfully.
It's just, are we past the minute mark?
We're at a minute 47.
Denise is just she's back in missionary every night. That's just how it goes. It's not fun. It's just boring at this point. Like, are you finished yet? Yeah. All right, Sam. Can I go to bed now? Yeah. Like, it's depressing. This is what you've chosen. This is what the EastEnders fandom have chosen.
Sorry.
Boring.
Sorry, I want to read this.
Just awful sex for Denise. For good.
Tony Peterson has commented saying, Ravi's got a stunner and his old girlfriend. Why would he want an old grandma? Jesus. And now we'll have to endure 20 years of, shall we get a takeaway? Shall we pull a cracker? And what you looking at? Thank you, Scran. You've won again. Your prize is a used car from 1960. They'll get its mail.
But I mean, I guess true. But in defence, the producers did say, "Hey guys, do you want Ravi and Priya? Because we want Ravi and Priya." And we go, "Yes, we want Ravi and Priya. Please give us Ravi and Priya. It's so much better than this." And we should be getting that. So, all in all, yeah, as people are saying in our chat, I do think it'll be really interesting to see. I do want to know what the votes were. I want to know what the live votes were. I want to see what percent voted for Jack, voted for Ravi. That'd be a really interesting bit to see. Then we can judge the British public and figure out whether we are, whether we need Jesus or we are in the right lane.
Yeah. And I'll run through quickly what's her name? Sonia's stuff very quickly. And then I'll get to the big boy, which is Martin. And then I'll get to all the comments on our live stream. Don't insult Denise, she looks great.
She does.
Yeah, she does. As I was saying, Sonia gives birth. Bianca's like, yeah, Lauren, you go near that. I'm not going near that. You go near that. I'm her sister. That's wrong. And Lauren's like, I'm her cousin. Fuck off. You do it. And Bianca's like, okay, give me that brandy. Downs it. And then it's like, Sonia, come on. And my favourite bit, I don't know if Ash copped this, but when Bianca grabs the pair, I have to say pair of underwear, because if I say it in my accent, grabs the pair of underwear and launches it at Lauren. I don't know if you call it Lauren, but she goes, she sniffs it for some reason.
No, it was a towel. It was a towel.
No, it was the pair of panties.
It was not. Was it the pants?
It was pants. It was a pair of pants.
I'm not arguing about the semantics of whether it was pants or not. Lauren Brannan did not canonically sniff Sonia's pants.
I swear she did. But yes, Sonia does give birth. It was the panties. And she gives birth, and the baby's not breathing at start. And
also Sonia goes down like she's just been hit with a 1-2 cross. Suddenly Sonia's like, her lips cool with her and just. as she's quivering, as she's on the floor. The baby's not moving. Bianca's like, do something. And then like the Undertaker, Sonia just ooh gets like vibrates the baby, gets the baby going, baby cries. And as we'll later see, baby Julia is born. As that was the other vote that won, which was the right option.
Yeah. And Chicken Nugget Lover 69 says, don't act like you wouldn't sniff Sonia's underwear. Well, you can die on that hill, mate. I'm not dying on it.
That's enough mentions.
No, I'll obviously get back to the chat because.
But this was the funny bit of the episode. This was the funny to battle the pretty tragic, depressing Martin getting beamed up.
Was that intentional?
Yes.
Okay. As I was saying,
that's the most overt pun is ever been made.
Okay, as I was saying, Martin, he's crushed by the beam, and the beam is crushing his legs and, well, more his pelvis, and he really can't, like, he literally can't breathe. They have to give him morphine, and Stacey's like, it's gonna be okay, Martin. Martin goes, will you marry me, Stace? And Stacey's like, yeah.
Well, yeah, they're all just going through really serious, like, oh, Stace, it's always been you. It's always been you, Stace. Me and you together, always and forever. We should get married. And they get a bit horny for a little bit. They're like, oh, bloody hell. You in that vest. Oh, fucking yeah. Don't get me started. There's paramedics in the room. But, then they get back to the gushy, in a different way stuff where they're like, you know what, it has always been you. We've always been around each other. At the end of the day, Martin says some good line where it's like, it feels like I've been around the world just staying in Walford because that's how being with Stacey is. And it's a nice, like, it's very bittersweet because the paramedic who was, delicious man, gorgeous man, that paramedic, kind of says to Stacey, look, Martin has sudden crush syndrome, something like that. I don't know. Essentially, if we take off the beam, he could go into shock and have a heart attack, which sets the scene for Martin to kind of be like, well, bloody hell. And then Stacey's like, this is fine. And obviously what happens when they lift the beam?
Obviously when they lift the beam, we hear Sonia's voice, and she's like, "Baby Julia, welcome to the world." And then she's like giving just a speech, and then fitting because of the name, they play Julia's theme as Stacey screams in horror as Martin dies. Yeah, Martin is Chicken Nugget Lover 69. 2 years later is correct. Martin is the dead body in the Queen Vic. So he has technically predicted this from the start. And so he has crush syndrome and he passed. Now, we are going to release a video on Monday detailing whether this was a good decision, whether this was a bad decision, just giving our thoughts. You can get more of that on Monday. But your first reactions to it, and then I'll obviously go into the chat's reactions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we said, we've been live streaming this whole week, and we've been covering it pretty heavily. So we've gotten our opinions and our lovely viewers' opinions. And in terms of the Martin death, I know we obviously go into it in the video coming out Monday, but it is a sad death in a way. And if you're someone who loves Martin and Stacey and believe they are soulmates, you probably will be shedding a couple of tears. The Kleenex is gonna be out tonight. Just it's so cute. It's so tragic. But as someone who feverishly hated Stacey and Martin, and look, everybody knows that I'm a bit of a Ruby Allen stan, just because I was so fed up of Stacey and Martin that the second Martin moves on to anybody else, he could have got on with anybody else. I'm like, yes, I love them. They're so much better than Stacey and Martin. Please never go back there. Please never go back. I used to despise Stacey. I used to hate the character because she was just constantly toing and throwing my favourite character as such. You know, Martin was my favourite character. Martin Fowler played a big part in me becoming an EastEnders fan again. I was on YouTube watching all these clips. I watched Martin and Sonia's storyline back in the day. I enjoyed it. And through time, it translated into going more and more into actually getting back into the show. So, as a Martin Fowler stan, even I'm not that upset at him dying. And I don't think they did anything wrong. It's just you're in the impossible situation where Martin Fowler is the big tragic 40th anniversary death. A legacy character dies. But you don't want to spoil it ahead of time because then it gives the whole fucking game away. So you have to build it slowly. You have to build it quietly. So in the end, it doesn't feel as tragic as it probably should have been, just because they wanted it to be a surprise.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. Just
gonna, again, go back to someone has left a lovely comment that had me rolling when Ash was speaking. Scran has said Martin's coffin will have a little plastic beam on it from a Fisher-Price toy. Yeah, I can see that happening. But probably from a Bob the Builder set, let's be real. But his death did feel necessary. It does work because 40 years technically 40 years on the show. If the actors playing Ruby can say she's been on the show for 20 years, the two guys playing Martin can say Martin's been on the show for 40 years. Technically, he's been there since the start. He's seen all the highs, he's seen all the lows. Obviously, Ash is just devastated now. Not because Ruby Allen is single and he's going to go on Tinder and try and match with her. But it's because he's fit.
Straight on Hinge. Making the profile right now.
Not because of that. It's more so his favourite character of all time. Stalker Sarah Kent can't come back. And that has left
Exactly! They're never going to bring her back, man. They're never going to bring Stalker Sarah back. Fully shut the door on it. I can't have Kirsty Soames to come back in Coronation Street. I can't have Stalker Sarah in my EastEnders. Why do soaps hate me? Personally.
Yeah, and that is pretty much a Walford on tap. I do any comments pick your fancy on screen now.
I mean, look, they gave Martin everything, didn't they? They even gave him Albert Squared. He even had his own game show to do. But as someone who felt like he was always going to be a part of the furniture, it is a big shock that Martin Fowler and James Barr will no longer be a part of the show. But at the end of the day, probably is the right decision.
Yeah, and if you want to be a part of this, well, whenever we live stream again, and we do live Walford on Taps, you can be in the comment section, and you can be a part of the show. You can be a part of the furniture. And now I have to go find a 1960s car for Scran, because I promised him a 1960s car. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.